Welcome to another episode of Stand Up for All Kids, and I wanted to do a little follow-up from an event that we had, gluten, talking about the gluten, the Santa event, and we had a lot of people that supported. I wanted to make sure that I thanked everybody. So making awareness about the gluten sensitivities that are out there. One of the grocery stores that I'm a huge fan of, the Italian market down in Akron, DeVita's. I walked in, shared what I was doing about Stand Up for All Kids, and you can see some of the products here that they donated. They gave me a whole bag of different gluten-free type stuff, so the pasta and the actual sauce. So, this is actually probably one of my favorites that I've found. So just really trying to help other people. You go to some of these stores, you don't realize that they do have gluten-free opportunities out there and options. Then the other Giant Eagle in Wadsworth here, I went and talked to them, and they were kind enough to donate some of this pasta and the actual sauce here. Also found that there's some organic type sauces at Aldi's. So you can definitely find options out there. And then a lot of us are familiar with Bueller's out there. They were kind enough to help share the flyer on their community board just to kind of make more awareness and let more people know that we were having the event. So it's all about the exposure, and I wanted to do the follow-up TV show here just to kind of thank everybody that donated, because it really helps and impacts and keeps the costs down, and just lets people know that there's options out there at these locations locally here. So the substation too, downtown Wadsworth, they let me share the flyer in their window. They have gluten-free. This is a picture of a gluten-free wrap that they have. I get it with no cheese. They also have gluten-free pizzas, and we'll be doing once I do the testing with the kids, we'll probably have a fun event where we'll just kind of get out there and we'll do some gluten-free, like a sample Saturday maybe we've got in the works, and we'll definitely let people know when that is so that you can come, because it'll be a free event. You can come and just sample and try some of this stuff. A lot of times people think that it's gluten-free, it's not going to taste good, but I got to tell you, I had a couple kids at the event, and they really absolutely loved some of these pastas. So getting into some of the schools that really helped us, Wadsworth local city schools, Highland local city schools, Sacred Heart, they all were very helpful in just kind of letting it share on the websites and circulating some of the flyers just to make more awareness with other people. I wanted to thank some of my friends that came to the event. I mean, we all have busy lifestyles. This is a buddy of mine, Nick. He was helping me do the cooking. And then I have another friend, Sarah Matthews. She's very passionate with Stand Up for All Kids. We've known each other for almost 5 years now. So she knows what I'm trying to do with the kids, and she came and helped. So I appreciate the support, because I can't do this by myself for sure. So just wanted to give a thanks, and definitely WCTV for letting me share here so that I can reach more of the community and just make awareness about this. So I want to dig into a little bit about why you would want to maybe go gluten-free or just try to figure out the symptoms and the signs of what gluten sensitivity is. As you can see at this graph here, you see there's definitely been a rise in the gluten celiac spectrum, and a lot of people are looking at, since they've genetically modified the food and they started spraying some of the glyphosate on the food. So I mean, is that the case? Maybe, maybe not. So right now I noticed that a lot of the kids, once they switch over to the gluten-free, if they show the signs, then they do better. Other things that I wanted to talk about, like you could experience digestive bloating, gas. These are some of the symptoms or side effects that you can have from having a gluten sensitivity. Often gluten sensitivity is missed. People will get a celiac disease test, and they just don't know. They think they're okay to eat gluten, but they're still having the symptoms. So I want to go over some of that stuff. So a lot of digestive concerns: leaky gut, bloating, constipation, diarrhea. And then you look at skin rashes. A lot of times we look at skin rashes and we want to just put like a topical cream on that response, but often it's not so much. We need to dig deeper into the digestive system to find out what's going on. So they call this chicken skin, and you can see the rash on the skin, and a lot of times people don't understand what's going on. Well, you'll see the testing that I'll be showing a little bit later, and and what could be causing that. So it could flare up in lots of different things. Not only with skin rashes, you could look at the memory loss, energy, loss of fatigue, chronic fatigue that people are experiencing, fibromyalgia, so just pain and inflammation. It's an autoimmune response that people are dealing with. Some of the other symptoms would be asthma, MS, Hashimoto's, which is, they're linking Hashimoto's to about 95% of the thyroid issues out there. So we don't always find the answers with just looking at the thyroid. Maybe we need to start looking at the diet more and finding out what's going on in the digestive system, into the gut, which everybody's talking about the root cause. So other things, lupus, celiac, rheumatoid arthritis, eczema, psoriasis, ulcerative colitis, and then ADHD is a big one out there. I think everybody's talking about ADHD. I went and did a talk at a PTO event, and I shared some flyers, and one was about the allergens and linking ADHD to different things like dairy, eggs, and gluten. So oftentimes when I find testing out with these kids and they remove some of these food sensitivities, they start to notice that they don't have that hyperactivity. They can focus into the classroom. So as you can see, lots of different things. You could get dizzy from eating it. You could get lightheaded. You could get migraines. Lots of people dealing with headaches, and they're usually typically linked. I don't know if you saw episode 1 with Shane. He was dairy, so it's not always gluten, but it's usually a food sensitivity, something that you're eating. And if we can get to that with the testing and then eliminate those foods, then a lot of times people just feel better. They might lose those headaches or getting lightheaded. Lots of like PCOS, PMS, infertility, things like that people are dealing with. Joint pain. A lot of people dealing with joint pain don't understand why. That's typically, often I say, check and see if you're gluten sensitive, because it's only 1% that's celiac disease, and it's about 30% that they're finding of people that are actually gluten sensitive. So mood swings, a lot of anxiety. People are dealing with just different types of mental issues out there. And Dr. Sears, who I was trained under, is really talking about the brain is sicker than the heart right now. So many people are dealing with dementia and memory loss and ADHD and ADD, things of that nature. And we're really linking it to the gut and some of the foods that are reacting. And it's all about getting the information out there and getting the answers for other people. So a little bit about my why and what I'm doing is, it's not, I think maybe gluten and wheat years ago was a little bit different than it is now. We're talking about, are you gluten intolerant, or is it because of the changes that they've made to the gluten? You can see here, you are not gluten intolerant, you are glyphosate intolerant. So they genetically modified a lot of the wheat and the crops, and in doing so, they spray it with these chemicals, and then and looking at this photo here, why is glyphosate sprayed on the crops? So to me, it means that food's going to be highly concentrated with all those pesticides and herbicides and the glyphosate. They do it because then it's easier to run the wheat through their combine machines, is what they're saying. But maybe not the best for us. And there's a lot of research out there now showing that this glyphosate is being found in a lot of the foods. So when you look for foods, you always want to try to look for non-GMO. If you want to avoid it, like I try to, I don't do it 100%, but whenever I can, I'll look for non-GMO, I'll look for organic. I try to look for things that are NSF certified, saying that it is never been sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, or has any of that glyphosate in there. And it's made a huge impact in my life, and that's why I share with other people. I don't know if you guys remember episode 2, Cecilia Craig, she shared her story. She was picked in January of 2019. She received the free testing, and her results did actually show, and we showed it on episode 2, and here's the results, and I underlined in red that she showed high sensitivities to gluten. And all the kids that aren't getting chosen out there, it's about a 30% chance. And I can't always help all the kids, unfortunately, but I'll be able to help 4 kids come January to get this testing, and it's going to be randomly picked. And if you'd like to have more information, I'll share a little bit later about how those kids are picked. But also Cece's mom, Tammy Craig, she's seen such huge improvements with their daughter. we did that TV show. An anonymous donor in Wadsworth decided to donate some money to help more local Wadsworth residents get the testing through 1111, which is her nonprofit. So through 1111, we'll be able to help 4 more kids, and they wanted to also have the parents experience it, which was how I did it. I went through a lot of the changes. I did the testing, did the diet changes, same time as my son did. Now, Tammy did the same thing. She went through the testing, she went through the changes in the diet, and sees the impact now that it's been almost a year, really, since they've experienced it. So that's why they're giving back, and they're very passionate about it. Now, let's say you don't get picked, and you want to give some things a try. So I have guidelines. I have a program like a Shred 10 that we do with people, and I'll show you a little picture of why the doctor, one of the things, the guidelines here with Shred 10, as you can see, you eliminate gluten. Okay, we're going to eliminate other things too, but one of the things you eliminate for 10 days is gluten. The other things are dairy and caffeine and alcohol and processed foods and sugar, and I think we all know that those probably aren't the best things for us, but those are the top 2, dairy and gluten, that I see in the testing. So let's say you don't get picked, but you still want to just see if you might feel better if you eliminate some of those foods, and that's where Shred 10 comes into play, and I usually coach people through the Shred 10. So you can see this is just a doctor that's sharing a little bit about the gluten, and he just explains about the gluten protein, how it's not easily digestible, it's not water soluble, it doesn't break down, it slows the metabolism down, and they've genetically modified it, so it's not what the gluten protein used to be, and the wheat is not like what our grandparents used to eat that was in, wheat. So everything's been changed, and a lot of these kids just aren't tolerating it like they thought. I'll be sharing some other episodes down the road. This is my website that you guys can go to. There's a video on the website, and it also there's sample reports where you can click on and actually look at the test samples. So you can click on it, it'll blow it up, it'll show the 96 different foods, it'll show the other testing that we do. There's 2 videos on there about the product that's recommended for Shred 10, and then there's a short video about who started Shred 10. The Dr. Mitra Ray, and a Division I athlete, put this Shred 10 guide together. And when you look at all the research and all the testing, it makes a lot of sense just to try that as an elimination diet. So you can go to my website, check it out. I want to talk a little bit about some future shows that we're talking about. So definitely want to do one just all about Shred 10 so people will know. We'll be doing a lot of Shred 10 programs throughout the year. So as we do, I want people to know what Shred 10 is, and we always invite you to join us and try it, because if you don't get tested or if you can't afford the testing, this is something you can incorporate into your lifestyle. It typically doesn't cost anybody any extra money, because what we do is we get you to change out the food that you're eating to eating different foods. So it's really just a swap. So that's why I like it, because I can't help everybody, but I'm going to help as many people, and the more support that I get from you guys definitely is going to help more kids with the testing. So some other shows that we're going to be talking about doing is some fun ones with the kids. So once we get the testing back with the kids, we'll be sharing some of their results, and then based on their results, what we'll be doing is doing like maybe a smoothie show where we'll make up the different smoothies, and we'll let the kids put stuff in there. I think if you get the kids interactive with it, they really will enjoy it and have fun, and they'll drink it, they'll eat it, things of that nature. So you probably heard a little bit about the Tower Garden one that we did. We're going to work on getting those in the schools and let the kids grow the food. I think the more interactive you get with the kids, you take the kids shopping, right? And you make it fun, and just try to let them pick out some of these foods, and then go home and let them help cook it. And then a lot of times they'll be more receptive to actually eat it. So Shred 10 will be one. A smoothie show we're thinking about. We're going to probably make some waffles, because who doesn't like making waffles? And definitely they're gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free. A lot of people are like, those are probably going to taste like cardboard and not be real good. But most everybody, once they eat them, they're like, those are pretty good. I actually really like them. And we'll share what we put in them when we make them, but they're so healthy for you too. So there's so many health properties of that ingredients that we put into those waffles. So, and the kids get it, and they just don't even really realize that it's in there. They just know that, hey, these taste pretty good, and they eat them, and they don't even have to need to know that they're gluten-free. But now you have a source of foods that they can eat without having all these responses. So some of the other shows that we're talking about doing is different health topics. So I really want you guys to go to, this is my email, naturalistic-health-options with an S @gmail.com. So what we would like to know is what the Wadsworth viewers and all around the world, because you can go to the website, WCTV.com, you can go on there and just, send the feedback to me at naturalistic-health-options @gmail.com, and just let me know some help. I have so much stuff that I've been exposed to and so many things that I've learned, and I just want to share it. And if there's certain health topics that you guys would really like to hear in 2020, please send that information to me, and then I'd love to do a show to help share that. There's a lot that we'll be sharing, but maybe you guys can give us some feedback and really let us know, what you're interested in and what things. I know a lot of people talk about cancer. I have a lot of information on that. Heart disease, brain health. I have lots of information. I always like to stay current, constantly reading and watching documentaries and what the new research is, and I try not to share so much opinions as things that actually have factual research and data and testing behind it before I try to share it. So that's why I like the testing, and hopefully, come January 11th, we'll be picking 4 kids. I never know what those kids are dealing with. I don't know what kind of health issues, or maybe they're just an athlete and they're wanting to improve their performance on the field. So I'm excited to actually get to see these, and by them sharing, it's helping me learn, and it's going to help all the people that didn't get tested. Will help them understand that, okay, when they shared, we were dealing with these symptoms, but then we found out that we had these sensitivities, or we had maybe the hair testing. They'll also be getting the hair testing, which we can talk about once we get those results back, but we can look at certain nutritional markers, just make simple changes in their diet, and then see what happens. And a lot of times people they just simply feel better, and it's awesome to, you can't put a price tag on somebody's health, and seeing them go from pain and suffering to just feeling good and smiling is amazing. And I think that's a little bit about why I've got, it's hard for me to see this, but the little smiley face on my shirt. If you can, I don't know if you can zoom in on it and see it, but it's all about seeing these kids happy and smiling and feeling good, and definitely look forward to doing more of these shows, and very appreciative of all the support. So we'll catch you next episode, Shred 10. If I don't see you guys before, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.